Winters are hard. I live in Minnesota, and if you live in a harsher climate, I totally feel you. When winter comes along, you're stuck inside for long periods of time, especially when it hits those super dangerous temperatures and wind chills and you literally can't go outside for any length of time. You start to go a little stir crazy. Your kids are jumping off the walls. You want to get some stuff done, but they won't leave you alone. You want to make a phone call, but they want to be in on the phone call. Trust me, I totally get it. But I have come up with my favorite 16 different activities that I pull out that take seconds to set up, don't take a lot of money, and you can just pull these out, put them in front of your kids, and they'll keep them entertained for long periods of time. I did daycare for 5 years. I'm also a mom to 3 little girls, ages 7, 5, and 2, and I am a huge advocate for play and learning through play, and I'm also a homeschooling mom. And so I'm all about having activities ready that I can pull out at any time. So I went through my arsenal of activities that we love, and I am going to share my 16 favorite with you today. Let's talk large motor. That is probably the hardest part of winter, is that we cannot go outside for hours to be jumping and climbing and running and all the things. And I don't have a huge house with big open spaces. I have furniture that I don't want my kids to wreck, and so I'm sure you can relate. So here are some of my favorite activities that will help your kids get their wiggles out and really work on those large motor skills. The first one we love to do is an obstacle course. So you can do this no matter what size your house is. Use your furniture. Your kids love this because it's a time when they can like jump off furniture. They can be loud. They can run a little bit in the house, but it's contained. There are limits, and it really does wear them out. We did this a week ago, and my kids went to bed early that night, and we only did it for about 15-20 minutes in the morning, and they were exhausted. So literally all you need to do is just grab some laundry baskets, grab some pillows, grab whatever, books, it really doesn't matter, and have your kids help you come up with an obstacle course where they're going over furniture, they're going under things, they're jumping on things, they're jumping off of things, they're rolling, they're somersaulting, like whatever it is, it can work. We don't have a very big living area. It's not very open, but we do have a way for them to go like in a big loop, and they love doing this. So this was a great way to get their energy out, and this costs $0. If you want to take it up a notch, we have waited 7 plus almost 8 years of parenting before getting those awesome steps that kids can jump off of. One of our daughters got them for Christmas from her aunt, and so these can be a great thing to add in to this, but you definitely don't need them. But if you're looking for a good large motor gift for a birthday or something like that, this would be a great one to add to your winter survival kit that you can add to obstacle courses. Next up comes from our favorite show here in our home, which is Bluey, and that is Keepy Uppy. Now, I played this as a kid and drove my mom crazy when she was trying to sleep upstairs. I would be hitting balloons downstairs, but this is a wonderful activity. Pick up a giant pack of balloons for just pennies on the dollar and have them ready to go. You can let your kids decorate them with Sharpies, make different faces, design them, whatever they want, and then put some music on and just have them try to keep their balloons in the air. You could even put a net up or set up a blanket and have them hit it back and forth like a volleyball game. But you don't have to get too crazy. Kids just love balloons and trying to keep them in the air. To really take this up a notch, we have tried recently light up balloons where they have a little light in them and you pull a little tab and they light up, and you can turn the lights out, add some music, and have a Keepy Uppy party where it's glowing, and it's really, really fun. And I found some on Amazon that are pretty inexpensive for a large amount, so you can do this any time of year. Another thing we love to do is a disco dance party. My kids love to dance, and so we spent about, I think, $8 to $10 on a little disco ball. We shut the curtains, we plug the disco ball in, we crank up the tunes, and we dance. We also like to add in scarves, and so they can have their different colored scarves and dance, but this is just a wonderful way to get out their energy in the winter time. And last up, we recently, for our youngest daughter's birthday, got a set of bowling pins. So this is a fun way to interact with something and play a game as a family. Even toddlers can understand how to bowl, and so this is something fun you can do together, or if you have an older child to help set them back up, that can be a great thing for them to do independently as well. Let's talk table activities. Now, these are just things that we typically do at the table that will keep your kids engaged. A lot of these are more educational based. They work on different skills that will help them in life. And so they are killing two birds with one stone. They're learning, but they're also having fun, and it's a more quiet activity that's not running and jumping. So if you need to get on a phone call or something like that, these are great for that. The first one is puzzles. I have so many puzzles, and puzzles can be really, really expensive, but especially for younger kids, I, over the years, have stocked up at the Dollar Tree on their flat inlay puzzles. I love them for, you know, 2 to 4 year olds who are still learning how to put a puzzle together, because they have a guide, and I love that they can store flat, which is awesome. So I have tons of these. I also get them at garage sales. And then we have a whole bin full of other Dollar Tree puzzles that don't have like a grid for them to lay in, but are great for slightly older kids to put together. And then of course we have some that we have asked for gifts over the years that are bigger puzzles that we would do as a family. And Target's dollar section also is great different times of year with different like mom and baby animal puzzles and things like that, or just puzzles where you can mix and match different things. So we have tons of different ones. I try to rotate to keep it interesting, but you don't need to spend a lot on puzzles to have a lot of them for your kids to choose from, and so that they don't get really old and stale, that they're still new and exciting ones that they haven't seen every single day. And then I just have a slew of other types of table activities that I've collected mostly at garage sales, and I sprinkle them in from time to time for gifts like Easter baskets and birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. So we have magnetic dolls, we have a geo board, we have the little cubes that can stick together for learning math, but also you can just make things with them. We have brain flakes, we have letters with sand, and so many other different ones that you can just find for very inexpensive, especially at garage sales. So it's a great place to find these. Dollar section at Target and different places like that. They don't cost a lot of money, but your kids will spend a lot of time playing with these, and I like to rotate these out so that it's always something new, but I didn't have to spend a lot of money on them. Next up, let's talk crafts. I have 3 girls who are obsessed with crafts, and any kind of craft, pretty much, if I put it in front of them, it'll keep their attention for a long period of time. So one of our favorite things to do is what I call crazy craft. So as your kids get different craft supplies over the years, let's say they have a craft kit but they don't use all of the materials from it, just take all of the excess materials and put them in a bin. And any random craft materials you get, like you can get those sets of craft supply bins that there's no set crafts they have to do with them, it's just materials. Just put all of that in a bin, give them a big piece of paper, some glue, some scissors, some markers or crayons, and just let them go crazy. My kids will spend an hour or longer, depending on the kid, on a crazy craft. They'll come up with a story or a scene they want to do, and they love looking through everything and making the most of those craft materials that were just excess, would have probably been thrown in the trash, and now they can breathe new life into them. We also add washi tape to that to just make it even more fun, because my kids love washi tape, and I usually add that to their stockings every year. They also would be a great Easter basket filler for you if you want to add washi tape in, but this will keep kids entertained for a very long time, especially if they love crafts. Another thing I like to do is just pull out any of those like drawing, painting, coloring materials that we don't use a lot. So things like oil pastels, daubers, paint sticks, any of those types of coloring materials that you can use that aren't just like your standard crayons or color pencils or markers that your kids typically have. Pull those out and let your kids draw and color with those as something new and out of the ordinary, and literally all you have to do is get it out, put it down, give them some paper, and let them go to town. Beads are another great thing to have. I have used these for many years for not all ages, because obviously little ones who put things in their mouth shouldn't be using beads, but they may have larger ones you could use. But we love to get some of those character sets that have a really easy like silicone string that's really easy for little hands who don't have the fine motor skills yet to use like a floppy string. They can use that set, and I just add them all together. So we have like a bluey set, a princess set, and so they can use that for beading. My older kids can use a string, but you can also use pipe cleaners. Those are great for littler ones to learn how to put beads on a string. And so just getting that out, my middle daughter would do this for hours when she was like 3 years old, and she loved it. And they can make little necklaces and things and bracelets for their friends, and it'll keep them entertained for a long period of time. If you haven't tried paint by sticker books, these are one of our favorites. I do like to save these for times where I really need my kids to just sit and be quiet and do something for a minute, so I can make a phone call or, you know, do whatever I have to do. And these are also great for like restaurants and doctor's offices, dentist appointments. But they are basically like what you would think of a paint by number, but there's no paint. You're actually using stickers instead of paint, and they're all numbered, and so you have to match the number or the letter to the different picture. And they're really, really pretty. They have ones for younger kids that have much bigger stickers, so it's easier for them to put it on, and they have ones all the way up to adult that have like 1,000 stickers on a picture, and it's a lot more complicated. So these are wonderful. They are a little bit more expensive, but if you really kind of reserve them for times when you really need them to focus, they can be a great reward for your kids as well, and my kids are obsessed with them. If you have kids who love sensory play, these are my favorite things. Obviously, just pulling out any kind of sensory material, putting it in a bin or a tray, and just giving them some other things to use with it. Play-Doh is a great one. We have a whole bin in our dining room they can pull out at any time with Play-Doh. I love to add in like Shopkins or those little adorable figures. So if your kids like those little figures, we have a My Little Pony set as well, or if they're gifted them from family and you kind of look at them as junk or even like McDonald's toys, they can be great to add in with sensory play because they're little and you may not want them out all the time, but they're great for if they're at the table doing these types of things. So kinetic sand we have available, Play-Doh, you could get out some rice or some dried beans, or if you have some kind of felt set, we love the sets from Just Add Imagination Cove on Etsy. These are all wonderful. And then we also have a few little kits that they can pull out to play with as well, like an outer space theme, a unicorn theme, a construction theme, and just take the play to another level. But it's easily contained and easy to put away and easy to get out and set up for them as well. And if your kids are really messy, I recommend putting this in an octagon playpen that has a floor. So if they spill rice everywhere or spill kinetic sand everywhere, you can easily vacuum it up or sweep it to one section and throw it away or whatever, and it's not getting all over your house. This is something I've done for years and it works really, really well. Another great one for sensory is to use water. So we have a couple of these sinks that we keep up above all of our kitchen cabinets, and you can just fill these with water. You can pump it. There's ones with a pump and there's ones with an electric pump that will pump on its own, and they put some towels down and they can scrub, and I've just cut up some sponges to clean with. They can pretend to cook. These little Crayola scrubby sets are also great. Just get a set or two, and they come with these little soft animals that you can add some water, and you color them with these ultra clean washable Crayola markers, and then just give them some water and they can scrub them clean, so you can use them again and again and again. They also can be fun in the bath, but this is a great one as well to use water for those sensory seeking times for your kids. And then just some ideas for play in general. Something I like to do is have a few sets of really fun open-ended toys that we can pull out from time to time. Some we may have out all the time, but some that we reserve for these times when I'm like losing my mind and I need something for them to do and we can't go outside. So magnet tiles are great for this. If you don't have them out all the time, you may save them for a time like this because most kids love them. But sometimes when you leave stuff like that out all the time, they get kind of sick of it, so it's nice to rotate or just pull them out for special occasions. We also have this fun treehouse set from Lakeshore that's really fun. They get to put together and build a different treehouse, and there's little figures to go with it, and they really play well with this when we just take it out from time to time. And then we have a big set of wooden roads and cars, and that's one where if I have it out, they don't really play with it, but if I get it out and they haven't seen it in a while, they will make this giant town and play all day with it. So another thing to think of, if you have any sets like that where your kids just aren't gravitating toward it, pull it out as like a special occasion and get them really excited about it, or just have it kind of set up as a strew, which is where you kind of set up play for your kids and let them discover it in a new way. That's also a great thing to do if toys are getting kind of stale. Like I mentioned with the sensory play, I like to just keep those little figurines, those Doorables, those Shopkins, any of those little action figure things you can get of like Encanto or Beauty and the Beast or whatever it is. I like to save those just as something new and exciting that they haven't seen in a while and just pull them out for them randomly. You don't have to use them with sensory play if that's overwhelming to you, or you don't have sensory materials, or maybe your kid is sensory avoidant and that's just overwhelming to them. You could just pull out the little figures and have them play with those. You can mix it up, mix and match with these, and it's really, really fun. And then another thing we like to pull out, which seems kind of young, but even my oldest daughter, who's almost 8, really likes these. We have Legos available to our older girls at all times, but I like to pull out the Lego Duplos, dump them all over our dining table. We have a really big set because I did daycare and we just accumulated a lot of them, and just let them go crazy. And even my almost 8-year-old just loves having something new to build with, and my 2-year-old can play with these without me worrying that she's gonna choke on something, and it's a lot easier for her to put together. Just a great toy to have to kind of mix things up and then just put them away when you're done, and you don't have to have them out all the time. You can just pull them out for a rainy, snowy, blizzardy day when you're going a little crazy. And then last up, we love to make forts, and we recently got an air fort, which is basically one you hook up to a fan and it blows it up for you. It's really big inside, and my girls love to set it up like a little house and play in there. Obviously, you don't have to have that though. If you have a tent or even just blankets and furniture, you can make a fort and let them go kind of crazy in there, and maybe make an obstacle course to lead to the fort, so it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and just let them have a really good time. Those are my 16 ideas to save your sanity this winter. If you have other ideas, please leave them in the comments, because we are all about helping each other survive motherhood, but not just survive, thrive as well, be the best parent you can be, and make memories with your kids, but still be able to get things done, make those phone calls, and just get through those times when you are going a little stir crazy in the house, because we can all relate to that to some degree. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.